Welcome back to the show. You're watching Morning Live. Well, FIFA's 209 member associations will gather in Zurich for what's billed as an extraordinary congress to vote for a successor to long-serving president Sepp Blatter. Blatter announced last June that he would step aside after 18 years as president. 5 candidates, Sheikh Salman bin Ebrahim, al-Khalifa, Gianni Infantino, Prince Ali bin al-Hussein, South Africa's Sexwale and Jerome Champagne are vying for the job. We're going to discuss this now with SABC Sport Reporter Velile Mbuli. A very good morning and welcome to Morning Live.
Morning, V.
Okay, so I think first up, the front runners is Sheikh Salman and Gianni Infantino. In your opinion, who do you think is going to be winning the FIFA election?
Well, when it comes to football, it's always difficult to talk about my opinion because just like the round game it is, you also have to respect the fact that some of these different member associations coming from all these 209 federations of FIFA around the world, they carry different mandates from their own countries and sometimes also from their own different regions as well. In this case, you have Sheikh Salman, who has been endorsed by 2 confederations, AFC, that is Asian Football Confederation, where he's a president and also a FIFA vice president. And
then by CAF, who have got probably the most number of votes.
We're talking about 54 CAF confederations. We're also talking about 47, if not 41, member associations from his own confederation as well. So it's going to be the battle of the numbers. Also bear in mind that there are 3 other candidates as well, besides these 2. But my prediction is that they will fall out. They'll fall by the wayside, maybe as early as in the first round. And then you'll be left with these 2, and then you would have a situation of those who had voted for these other 3 in the first round will then have to make their decision in terms of which candidate between the 2 they settle for.
What about Gianni Infantino? He was here on Robben Island just in the beginning of this week with South Africa's very own Sexwale, and he seemed extremely confident. Just 2 days ago, I played a soundbite from him saying, 105 votes, no problem.
I think also if I had coffers of a campaign that was equivalent to what he had, 500,000 euros coming from UEFA, declared up front. He has no challenges. So I would also be confident. But also at the same time, one has to question on how ready he was, because he had to wait until Michel Platini decided that he's not going to stand, and only then that his candidacy was confirmed. So I would understand why there are doubts, especially from an African point of view, around him. Is he going to be this independent FIFA president that everyone is looking for, more especially when you take into consideration that he's the Secretary General of UEFA, and there are a lot of issues. Remember, for 112 years, out of the 8 presidents of FIFA, 7 have came from Europe and only 1 coming from South America. And sometimes you understand the Asia and CAF agenda that anyone but an European.
Many people that haven't really been following what's been happening during the campaigning and maybe only caught little bits will say, well, why aren't you guys speaking about Sexwale? You know, he is our South African candidate. He is the African representative at the FIFA elections. And many people should be shouting and screaming a lot more about him.
You know, yesterday I spoke to his camp. And at that time, I think they had just came out of another meeting, because what was happening yesterday, different confederations, as you know, FIFA has got 6 confederations, also structured through different continents as well. So I think they had met Oceania yesterday, and I understand that they also addressed UEFA. He also briefly addressed CONMEBOL, which is South America. And you get the sense that, yes, they're in that vibe of the elections. But as to whether they can go all the way, because remember, it will not just be about the first round. You have to go to the second round, because you have to win in the first round, it's only if you win by 2/3 majority, then you can win, but it's unlikely that it is going to happen like that. So when it comes to Tokyo Sexwale, when it comes to Jerome Champagne, and I think maybe to a certain extent also Prince Ali, I know that everyone in the country has been saying why SAFA, why CAF has not been fully behind him. But today it's not really about where one is coming from. It's about the challenges that FIFA has. And the candidate that has to be elected today has to meet those challenges.
Still standing.
Those who will be voting, can they fully entrust that person that he will be the solution to their problems?
Do you think that Tokyo has that kind of trust at that level?
Well, if you look at what has been said by different member associations of even FIFA, for instance, the high-ranking member of the CAF Executive Committee, Kwesi Nyantake, he comes from Ghana, and he had expressed his concern that they have not heard the message that they wanted to hear from him. And look, we cannot beat around the bush about this. You go back to the 5th of this month, the meeting, the CAF Executive Committee meeting that decided in Kigali, in Rwanda, that they are going for Sheikh Salman. I think it was right there and then that they don't believe that he's the right person for them.
And in January, we even saw Tokyo appearing at the FIFA Awards and not at the CAF Awards. And I suppose that was also quite a big indication. It's going to be very interesting to see what happens later on today. Velile Mbuli, thank you very much. Always a pleasure to have you here on Morning Live. Of course, that is how we conclude this discussion on the FIFA elections. All will be revealed later on today as to who Sepp Blatter's successor really is. Morning Live continues after the break.